I happen to be good friends with Jordan Chariton, and he just put out another story, as I'm sure you're aware of, about this young lady. I can't recall her name off the top of my head, but her sister died because she was forced to work in horrific conditions at an Amazon warehouse, and they've been trying to keep the lid on it. So I am assuming, and you can share this because I'm sure a lot of people don't want to be on the record, but I'm willing to bet that these types of war stories go on at all different distribution centers all throughout the country.
Absolutely. And I can shed light on that because shout out to Jordan as well. Because yes, I was actually the first person to contact her. Her name is Poushawn Brown. She passed away. She was 38 years old. She left behind her 12-year-old daughter, Gabriella. Her sister, Christina Brown, who also worked at Amazon, started a GoFundMe because she passed away suddenly in her sleep 2 weeks ago. We don't know the reason why, because she didn't have the money for the autopsy, and she had to make a swift decision to put her sister, away properly. So she received a call from Amazon asking about her sister whereabouts, not wondering about, if she okay. They asked her, when is she coming back to work? And she had to literally tell the company that day on the phone that my sister died last night in her sleep. Can you guys help me out? The company said, oh my God, we'll get back to you. And that was it. Nothing else. So a worker from that facility reached out to me, and I was lucky enough to get in contact with Christina, and I pushed it off to Jordan, and Jordan's done a great job blasting the story out there. Thank you so much for that, because when I got in contact with Christina, she had $700 in her GoFundMe. Now, till this day, she has $33,000. So nice. That just tells you right there, and everybody, once again, that we take care of ourselves. Amazon, the richest company in the world, destroyed this family's life forever, and not just hers, many others, including myself, family lives forever. And they, instead of even correcting their wrong by offering the money or reimbursement or anything, they lied to the media again and said that they didn't allow workers to test each other. So it's so crazy how insane, really, how this company doesn't know that this woman was trained by another worker and was a COVID tester at that facility for 4 months, 10-hour shifts every single day, testing hundreds of workers every week. And you're going to lie to the media and say we don't allow workers to test each other, when this sister that worked at Amazon physically seen her doing this because she worked there as well, which is crazy to me. And then 2 weeks later, which now that the story's out there, they contacted her again and tried to send condolences 2 weeks after, and then go back to the building where her sister worked and post up her GoFundMe and a message to the workers saying we reached out to the family. It's so crazy to me. But this is the story that doesn't get out there, or doesn't get told. So I'm glad that you brought this up. And yes, we're still fighting for her. We're pushing it out there. And I hope that this story is one of the stories that will get the public behind us and get workers behind us to come out and speak up, because that's what we need.
I do think we need to have more people at the top that are willing to speak up about this. I don't know if there are any union leaders out there that you've experienced any type of communication with that seem receptive to it. The only one that I have seen that might potentially be willing to stick her neck out there is Sarah Nelson, head of the CWA. It turns out that what I would call, at least Jen's closest ally in the union movement in Florida, happens to have been a very high up person in the CWA for quite some time. He has quite a reputation. We might as well just say.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it.
Not going to use the F word. Okay.
But fucking Fred Frost. It's fucking Fred Frost.
He has been a thorn in Debbie Wasserman Schultz's side for quite some time, so much so that she literally has thrown pity parties for herself about why doesn't the CWA back her against Jen. It's pretty pathetic, but we do, like I said, live in a right to work state, and it's very hard for unions to really take a stand. have you found, like I said, somebody like Sarah Nelson, who is the head of the CWA, have you had any success making contact with any union leaders that would potentially stand in solidarity with the workers?
It's a lot of them. It's a lot of unions out there. The problem is, every building is different. And when it comes to Amazon workers, every state, every building, and the cost of living, there's so many variations to the situation that I have to, make sure that the workers get what they want. That's the most important thing. So that's kind of the reason why I started my organization, to reach out and find out what workers want. What do workers want? And I found out that certain workers do want unions. Other workers want more of a rank and file committee within their own workplaces. Taking a page out of what Google workers did a few weeks ago. Shout out to my brother Chewy Shaw, who I've been in talks with. So that's one example how you can create workers' power within your own workplace and kind of cut out the middleman, cut out the NLRB, which we've seen can also be corrupted in some sense, and have the wrong judge or wrong lawyers involved. So we see what's going on with the Amazon case. So there's certain things that we can do now immediately. So it's just up to the workers, So when I talk to workers in different facilities other than JFK8, I ask them, what are you doing, or what would you like to do? Some of them say, hey, we'd like to unionize. They'll try to research a union that best represents them. Others are working on building their own rank and file committees within the workplace, which I think is more sustainable for a workforce of 600 to 800,000 people.
You know what you're sounding like. I mean, you're sounding like a socialist. I mean, you're talking about crazy talk, like workers should own the means of their production and like they should own that. Like workers should actually profit from their own labor. I don't know.
Sounds radical, right?
It's just crazy talk.
Yeah, I'm a commie. They call me commie. They call me this, that. Whatever you want to call me. I just call it. It's right. As a human being, we should have a decent living wage and definitely sweat equity for the work we put in. And obviously a wealth tax on all billionaires so that we can get back some of this money that we rightfully deserve.
Yeah, no, there shouldn't be billionaires. It's ridiculous. I always say, like, I have no problem against it in theory. And if they could get to that point, treating their workers fairly, paying their fair share of taxes, not screwing over the environment, and everybody is okay, I don't really care. I don't care how wealthy the wealthy get. What I care about is how poor the poor are. So, if everybody had what we consider to be a minimum standard of living of dignity and just respect, then that would be fine with me. If somebody else wants to have gold-plated fixtures on his, personal private jet, I wouldn't care. So, that's always where I'm at with it. But the concept of that, how far we're willing to let people go down and where we're letting people be as a society is just completely unacceptable. And it's interesting when you talk about things like worker co-ops, because if we really had that, and I mean, which would be amazing, that obviously reduces, you don't need a union. So it's almost like that would be the ultimate way for workers to have power. Then union is sort of like a second best. And then all we're hoping for here is a minimum wage. So, that's sort of like the hierarchy of how it should be.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that, once again, just for example, I give you a good example, 600 to 800,000 workers of Amazon create a rank and file committee and they negotiate their own contract. Once again, same union-like structure, but they sit down at the table with Jeff Bezos and they say, hey, look, you either give us this or, we will unionize on you. So I feel like it's always a win-win. It's leverage for us workers, whether we are rank and file or we have a union to protect us, either or will be beneficial than what we have now.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.